Hi everyone and welcome to the first episode of our Hidden Strength podcast, hosted and presented by me, Jess Bays. To kick things off, I thought it would be perfect to get one of the most positive people I know on to chat about our life experiences. That is DJ and producer Hannah Wants. By sitting down and just talking to each other, this can actually be the best form of healing. This chat is so interesting and inspiring to see what Hannah's been through in her life, so make sure you like and subscribe to our Hidden Strength YouTube to keep in the loop. So, my love, Hannah Wants. Thank you so much for coming and having a chat with me.
Thank you for asking me.
How are you? What's new?
I'm really, really good, thank you. Not long got back from Ibiza. Spent 4.5 months there.
I know. Tell me all about it.
So, how much do you want to know?
Well, why did you go there for starts?
So, 2020 was a rough year for most, as we all know. But for me personally, it was the most traumatic year of my life. Well, we're starting deep, aren't we? 2020, the start of March, I was re-diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
A couple of weeks after that, coronavirus happened, everything shut down. So my purpose, my passion, what I do, who I am, got taken away. And then a few months after that, I went through an extremely difficult, traumatic and public relationship breakup. So within the period of 5 or 6 months, I had 3
everything came
traumatic. Well, they say things come in threes, don't they? And wow, 2020 give me 3 things, you know.
Well, this is the reason why I wanted to have a chat with you, because you're so positive and you just always remain positive through everything you go through in your life. And did Ibiza work for you? Did getting away from everything just kind of heal you?
100%. It got to the point where it was winter time. I wasn't working, still struggling with my relationship breakup. And I needed to make a change. I needed to do something. I had to take my own health and happiness into my own hands. And so it was one Monday morning. It was absolutely pissing it down outside. I wasn't happy. I wasn't okay. And I just thought,
let's go.
And I just thought I need to do something.
Take my dog. Let's go.
I just thought, Ibiza, I love that place. I'm connected with that place. I needed to go and heal. I needed to go and improve myself. I needed to get better. I needed to sort my head out. So I literally that day wrote a plan. I still got the piece of paper to this day. I love writing stuff down, write stuff down. It happens.
I mean, well, I did the same. I mean, me and my manager wrote BBC Weekender, Radio 1 on the wall, and now they're really supporting me. So you manifest. This is another thing I want to touch on a little bit later on. 100%
write down your stuff. So I wrote down how I was going to get there. I planned it. I booked it.
Yeah.
Can we swear? I went, I left. And over Christmas, so 23rd to the 26th, just travelled, packed my car, took my baby, my son, my dog. Took Ivor to Ibiza. I'd planned to go for 3 months, ended up being there for 4.5.
I guess that was probably the good thing you got off of the bad breakup. The Spanish passport or the travelling thing.
That was one of the amazing things.
I have to say, as one of your friends, it was really tough watching that, because I know how private you are. And to have that plastered in the press was, I just know not what you would want to go through mentally. Like anything about that was just it was hard. It was very hard to watch on the sidelines.
It's frustrating, especially when
checking in with Philly a lot, checking on you.
The thing is when things go public and
you can't control it.
The things that were being printed, they weren't even true anyway.
Well, this is where it comes into affecting your head. Like you can't control what someone's going to say about you.
The feeling of helplessness and frustration is something that we kind of have to deal with sometimes, and I know we'll touch on it about the trolling and when people say things about you that aren't true, and do you engage in it and make it worse and make more people have eyes on it, or do you just sit back and... But when it was about my public relationship, like... It was such a feeling of helplessness, because I wanted to say, hey everybody, that's not true. This has actually happened. That's the truth, or whatever.
I was kind of rooting for you to do it. I really wanted you to just really just go. But I know, like you said, then you're giving them what they want.
Exactly. I had journalists from mainstream newspapers knocking on my door, leaving letters in my box, offering me money for stories, for dates. They wanted me to sell my heartbreak story.
Oh my God.
And it was tough, because whilst I was going through the most painful, not the most painful period, one of the most painful periods of my life, you've got people intruding and invading your privacy from that side. And then regardless of what you say to them... It's just not normal
behaviour. Like, I really don't understand how the press can't be like more held to accountability for what they do.
It's funny because that they pretend to care, and some of the messages that I received was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear what you're going through.
Do you want to take
And I'm just thinking, you don't care about about me.
You just want to sell a story.
So and I can obviously see through the fakeness, and I just can't deal with that kind of stuff. Like,
this is one thing that worries me with the next generation of kids coming up. Like, they want to be in this limelight so much, but are they prepared for what actually comes with that?
Yeah, nobody can prepare you.
No.
Obviously, the kind of level of fame that I'm at isn't even nowhere near the level of fame that many others are at, you know. But it is something that you do learn to live with. But that was one particular instance where it's been, you know, national press, mainstream press, and regularly, and something that was extremely, to add on to the heartache anyway, I'm struggling with what's happened anyway.
Yeah, of course,
and then you
rocked our industry insanely.
And then you've got people, you know, messaging you, I don't want, you know, as much as a lot of them were concerned and trying to tell me what they were doing now, and that, you know, all of this stuff, you know, I was broken, I was struggling from my relationship breakup, and then it was just something that I didn't expect to happen, that did happen, and made the whole relationship breakup and healing process much longer and much worse.
Yeah, completely. I mean, well, you're someone that throws yourself into like meditation, and like you're so spiritual and exercise. Like, do you find that is really good to channel when you're feeling anxious or whatever about anything?
Meditation is something that, if I'm honest, I dip in and out of. It's something that I try to do 10 minutes as soon as I wake up. But if my schedule is really busy, sometimes that will be the first thing that kind of dips off.
Do you think exercise is the main thing for you then?
Exercise.
I know you're super onto fitness, your health, like your diet is incredible. Like, I'm in awe of your diet. I just wish I had that motivation to be so on it.
Yeah, well, a cancer diagnosis will change that.
Let's talk on this.
Strength.
How did that affect everything? So, like, I mean, that shocked our whole industry when you went through that, because nobody really knew. You hid it very, very well.
Yeah, I didn't say
I even
anything.
toured with you. We toured together, and I had no idea what you would like. That this is something that we need to speak about. Like, you hid it so well. Like, it's scary how well you could hide what you were going through.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed, it was March the 3rd, 2017, and I was actually in the middle of my What Hannah Wants UK and Ireland tour, and I was actually playing with Sam Divine. I'm not sure whether you were there. I think it was the Bournemouth date, Southampton or Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of me didn't want to go. Obviously, that was an extremely difficult afternoon, but I'd sold out my tour. I wanted to go, and
this is another thing. You feel like you have the responsibility, and you don't want to let anybody down, do you? Even though what you're battling is insane.
Well, there were thousands of people, you know, a good couple of thousand tickets that had been sold, and I didn't want to let them down. But more importantly, or just as importantly, I didn't want to let myself down. You know, it was something that I'm proud of, and I'm glad I went, but it was extremely difficult. And another in the same tour, so I had my surgery a couple of weeks afterwards, and then the day after I had my last gig in Birmingham, so I was so sore. Like, obviously I couldn't really move my arm and stuff, but I went and finished my gig. Nobody knew, but I was determined to complete my tour. It was the last tour date. It was in my hometown of Birmingham, and I wasn't going to miss it for shit.
No,
so,
not Birmingham, no way.
Yeah, I made sure that I did it, and I did feel good afterwards. But I didn't come public with my journey for 18 months after I was diagnosed, because it rocked my world that much. I didn't want to speak about it until I was at peace with it, and it took me a long time to become at peace with, you know.
Was Birmingham the one that I played with you? I'm pretty sure we did the closing one together.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, I actually battled and attempted suicide 2 days before that, so we were both hiding things there on that show. It just shows you how our job.
You game face on into the club, nobody knows shit.
You wouldn't have an idea. Like, and I think when all that stuff came out online, part of me just felt a little bit of like, I don't want to say relief, but it was like, maybe people will give you a break now, because I know you can get trolled a lot, and it's infuriating as one of your friends to watch. And I felt like maybe people will leave you alone now, like, because they see what you go through. Yeah,
trolls don't. To be honest, you know, the trolling happens much less now.
Yeah.
I think when people are always, especially women in the industry, are on that pedestal, and people are waiting for something to attack. It doesn't matter what you look like, a weakness in your game. It doesn't matter. People are ready to attack, and when they do, people jump on the attack bandwagon, as you well know. I don't get trolled that much, and it's something that I just don't really pay much attention to now. It takes years of practice.
No, I think I'm just getting out of it. Like, I've just learned how to deal with it, especially when people attack your image and your weight. It's really hard not to be like, I need to on diet now.
That was one of, I don't think actually I've ever told anybody, but I had I don't even know what the surgery is called. I was never paranoid about the size or shape of my head prior to being a DJ, but when I started DJing and I was wearing my hair down, I can't even remember how I had my hair.
Everything.
Made me paranoid about the size of my head, so I actually had surgery to make my forehead smaller.
What?
Did you even know that?
No.
Yeah, look at my scar, like you can see, like from...
Oh my God, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Nor did I, but it is, you know.
There we
so
go.
I had surgery to make myself feel better, and
That's
that obviously come from, don't get me wrong, I feel better about myself, but I was never aware of that problem, that fault before people told me about it.
Yeah. They find it. So you've come through so much, like how do you remain as positive as you are? Like what gets you through like the day if something bad is happening? Like what keeps you driving to be positive?
Overall, I'm a positive, motivated person. Don't get me wrong, like there are periods in life, you know, the cancer diagnoses, the breakups, that I'm not okay every day.
Of course.
But I think, I don't know, it's just my will to, one, succeed, not let anybody kind of like, I'm not going to let people affect my day, you know, my life. You're here once, or maybe are you here once, you know, who knows? I actually don't think we are, but that's a whole other conversation. But we're here to enjoy our experience, and I think you get to a point where, well, I guess I've always been like it. I just want to have a happy, successful life, and I just refuse to let anybody, you know, impact that really.
Totally agree.
Overall, of course, you have your ups and your downs, and I've had to learn these things, but yeah.
Are you excited to go back to touring? How do you think it's going to affect us having the whole year off and now be thrown back into the madness? Because I feel like a lot of us were working ourselves into the ground and we didn't even realise.
100%. I think I wish it never happened, but it has been nice to kind of reflect and breathe. I could have done with maybe 1 month instead of 16 months breathing, do you know what I mean? So I could have got the same results and outlook on life if this had have been, you know, 4 weeks. But it is what it is. It's just another thing that you have to be positive about. What can we do about it? Make the best out of a bad situation. I've been able to focus on my recovery from, you know, my second breast cancer diagnosis. I've never slept so well.
Fine? Are you better now?
Yeah. I mean, you always, whether you've had a cancer diagnosis or not, you're always susceptible. You know, the chance and the risk is always there, especially
You did it a lot in naturally ways as well, didn't you? You didn't go down the chemo route, I don't think.
No, they wanted to do radio, chemo, hormone therapy the first time. I declined it all. It was something that is very personal, and I'm not saying that the way that I've done it, or you can't say that I've done it right and other people haven't. It's an extremely personal decision, and you should always do what your gut tells me. But I went to the hospital one time, the first time, so like 2017, and I sat in the chemotherapy unit, and I watched people being hooked up to the machines, and I just had this mad, I can't even explain it, mad feeling in my belly, and it was my gut saying no, so
don't do it.
That for me is something that doesn't sit well with me. It's something that I wouldn't
personal
choose.
Preference.
And then when I got re-diagnosed, I decided to just do the radiotherapy. I mean, yes, it has side effects, but I knew that I was strong enough to I knew that I would support my body. Yeah, I would support myself and my body through that experience.
Well, you had a whole lifestyle change when the first incidents happened.
I changed everything. I never used to sleep much. My diet wasn't great. I used to go on the road, and I'd go to McDonald's and get 20 chicken nuggets, but not get the chips and the drink.
Well, diet is so
that's poultry, it's chicken, it's protein.
But it's not. It's one thing that really has made me change my diet. Watching how you are so you've smashed cancer twice through diet changes as well as other stuff. Yeah. But that was a massive factor. I think it's so important, and it's one of the reasons why I think your age demographic of your crowd, that they are quite younger, which is why I wanted to have you on here to chat. And is there anything you would go back and tell your younger self if you could?
100%. One, health is wealth. It's something that if there was a person that said cancer will never happen to me, it was me. Never. I
feel the same.
Never get ill. To this day, never get ill. Never get the flu. Rarely. And I was fine. I was just a strong-minded, determined person that just ploughed through anything through work and didn't think about repercussions or what I could be doing internally to myself, because on the outside I'm fine. So if I could go back 100, it would be to balance my life. Prevention is better than cure. And if I could go back now and say, if somebody had said, if you don't change the way that you live in 5 years, you're going to get this, I would have been like, okay, and learned the lessons then, and then prevented it, hopefully, then getting it. So work-life balance, never had that, never had a social life, never wanted to, always turned down friends and family occasions, just ploughed through work. It was my passion, and I loved it, But I
think it's hard in our industry, isn't it? You don't ever want to say no to anything, but then that's one thing that the year gap made me realise I've missed out on so much. All of a sudden my family looks older, and I've forgotten that I'd been having so much fun for 5 years, that all of a sudden my nan is now 90, and I'm like, I haven't spent any time with her, and it plays on my mind loads.
Work-life balance is huge. Being able to put your laptop down. It's something else I never used to do. Like my previous partners and friends would just say,
like
just
scrolling
stop.
for ridiculous amounts of time.
Just there's so much, eating right, giving yourself the body what it needs. We do not get taught what we should do with our bodies, the lack of education with regards to health and lifestyle. Even now with all this corona madness stuff, ploughing vaccinations, when if they want to say it, where is the guidance on eat this, do this? Totally. I mean, they've said go out and exercise, but there's just so much that we can empower ourselves with that we don't get taught. We should be taught this in school,
Agreed.
When have you ever used one of those, what's them things, them little instruments, utensils, maths?
When do what we use Pythagoras theorem? I don't know anything about angles.
Have you ever got, what's it called?
I want to learn about a mortgage and things like that, the compass things. But I love you, and it's so nice to have you on here, and I really hope that you're okay, and I'm going to have a fabulous year.
I'm really, really, really good, thank you, and thank you for getting on. And
I love you.
I love you too.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure, my absolute pleasure.